So the Fed is about to repeat its biggest mistake ever, and last time it did this, ordinary people, gold and silver holders really, they got rich off of this. Because right now the Fed is in trouble. On Friday, last Friday, we got a jobs report that was absolutely brutal. 57,000 new jobs when everyone expected 110,000 new jobs. And not only that, they revised last month's banger job report down by 74,000 jobs. They just said, oh, we miscounted. It's actually 74,000 less. Now, I know that sounds like a boring number, but it isn't, because it shows cracks in the whole strong dollar narrative that they've been pushing for months now. The narrative that's been crushing gold, and it reinforces my decision not to sell a single ounce of gold or silver. If anything, I'm buying more physical gold and silver. But anyway, I'll explain why later. The thing is, the last time the Fed was in this exact position, the people who saw it coming, they made an absolute fortune. And the people who didn't, I mean, they lost half of their savings without even realizing it. And I'm going to explain exactly who won, who got wrecked, and what I'm doing with my own money in this video. So if you've got a pension, a 401k, or savings sat in a bank account, this hits you really hard. So you need to listen to this. Right, so to understand exactly what's happening here, we need to go back to 1971. Now, I'm not going to talk about Nixon ending the gold standard and all that crap. This is a different story. I've talked about that enough. But it is 1971. And Nixon, he's got an election coming up in 1972. The economy is sluggish, unemployment's too high, and he knows that you don't win elections in an economic downturn. But he's got a problem. The Fed controls the money. The Fed is meant to be independent. I mean, that's what the Fed is. It's meant to be independent. So what does Nixon do? He installs his own guy as Fed chairman, a bloke called Arthur Burns. Does this sound familiar, right, to what's happening right now? Anyway, and then he leans on him, and I mean he properly leans on him. It's all on the White House tapes, by the way. Like this is all recorded history. Look it up after this video. It's absolutely crazy. I might do a video on it. Anyway, his team planted fake stories in the press to embarrass Burns when he wouldn't play ball. They threatened to stack the Fed board with loyalists to outvote him, and eventually Burns folded. He cut rates into an economy that already had massive inflation problems. In 1969, US rates were up around 9%. By early 1972, Burns had them down to 3.5%, and the money supply was growing. They were printing money. So the economy roared straight into the election. Nixon won 49 states, and then the bill came due, right? Because it always comes due. It took a whole decade to pay off, though. Right? So inflation was about 3% when Burns folded. By 1974, it was over 12%. And when the oil embargo hit in late 1973 and oil roughly quadrupled in a few months, the inflation was already there, right? Inflation was already high and then oil quadrupled. So the oil just poured petrol on that fire. Anyway, guys, if you found this interesting and want to hear more about it, make sure to watch the full video. It should be popping up on your screen sometime now, somewhere here maybe.